All right, guys, welcome to Heart Strong. This is the online workshop that we're doing for March, and we may be doing some stuff for April. Make sure you go back and watch that Max Immunity workshop that me and Bryce from Smart Gut HQ did the other night, and we actually dropped on Sunday night. It's crazy time right now, and that's okay. And so we're always going to be here for you. Make sure that you're always plugging in. We have a bunch of videos on our YouTube channel, so make sure you plug into that, VictoryHealth.tv or VictoryHealthTV.com. Today we're talking about, and this month we're talking about Heart Strong, and so you can't beat a healthy heart. That's the tagline, and the truth is that this is a plague in our communities. It's a plague in our healthcare system, and so we want to talk about that. I want to give you some good resources today, and also provide you with information on some supplements and the foods, and maybe just a simple type of exercise that you want to do to maintain your health. And so the mission of our office is to change the way that healthcare is managed and delivered in this community. I think we've done a good job about that over the last 10 years. And so thanks again for always listening in and plugging in. We have a radio show, VictoryHealthRadio.com. And once again, this is not about a promotion, but ultimately it's about getting you the information that you need to know to be well. This is the coolest picture I've ever seen of the heart. So we put it on there. And so the truth is, listen, your heart, it's really amazing. Without your heart, you can't function. Your body can't work right. And your heart is about the size of your fist. On average, the heart pumps about 2,000 gallons every single day. Usually beats about 115,000 times per day. The basic function of the heart is to pump blood through the body to deliver oxygen from the lung. And I just realized that you're probably going to see a bird hitting the window behind me, or some other bird that's flying around. But if they do, then good for them and good for us. And so heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States. It's above cancer. It's above car accidents or any other diseases. The CDC estimates that heart disease is responsible for 1 in every 4 deaths. That one person dies every 37 seconds from heart disease. It's an alarming number. The trend from the American Heart Association says that it's been estimated that by 2030, about 40.5% of the United States will have some kind of cardiovascular disease. That's 2 out of 5 people, y'all. To top it off, it's estimated that in 10 years, in the 10 years between 2010 and in the 10 years between 2020 and 2030, the medical cost of cardiovascular disease is estimated to triple, totaling an increase of $272 billion, making it $818 billion just to service heart disease. That's insanity. When we talk about heart disease, a lot of times we think about cholesterol, and we're so concerned about cholesterol and getting our cholesterol down, but our cholesterol is very important to your body. It's important for building hormones and so many other things. I'm going to go through this, but the truth is it's the oxidation of cholesterol that causes heart disease. It's when there's already inflammation inside of the blood vessels, then the cholesterols actually come and try to heal it and clean it up. It's like a cleaner. It's like your body's repair substance. But what happens is that when we never fix the inflammation, the cholesterol just continues to lay upon itself, and it hardens up over time. And did you know that the truth is that more people have heart attacks with normal cholesterol and elevated, that there's a higher death rate with people with low cholesterol? And so cholesterol is, once again, it's a soft, waxy substance. It's made up by the liver. It travels in the blood as 2 compounds, LDL and HDL, which are called high-density lipoproteins and low-density lipoproteins. Cholesterol is needed, like I said, is to manufacture hormones, to create bile acid, and to receive vitamin D from the sun. You need cholesterol. You can't make estrogen, testosterone, cortisone, or other vital hormones without cholesterol, and so it's a very important thing in your body. HDL cholesterol is known as what's called the good cholesterol, and it's higher levels of HDL cholesterol are better than low levels. We know that for sure. HDL helps to clean out the arteries, like I said before. It helps to pull LDL away from the arteries, like a LDL gets stuck inside of the arteries, and so HDL comes and pulls it off of there. And so healthy amounts of HDL is actually preventable and preventative in heart disease care. When we get high LDL is when we really get in trouble. And so here are some things that cause high LDL: foods that contain saturated fats and trans fats. Those are your hydrogenated oils. We know that a lack of exercise, a lack of physical activity can lead to higher levels of LDL. Obviously, being overweight, and often being overweight, people have low HDL and high LDL, and it increases the risk for high blood pressure and for type 2 diabetes. And so when we're overweight, it's really scary. You can develop sugar problems and other problems from the obesity and cardiovascular disease, and you name it. And so women develop heart disease. It's the #1 cause of death in both men and women. Men develop cardiovascular disease around 10 to 15 years before women do. Women after menopause, cholesterol levels rise significantly, and once again, the hypothesis is that it's trying to make more hormones and trying to balance out your hormones. Now, a lot of people take cholesterol drugs and these things called statins, atorvastatin. I see there's all kinds of statins out there. But statin drugs work by inhibiting an enzyme that manufactures cholesterol in your liver. However, when you stop making that enzyme, the liver no longer makes CoQ10. And CoQ10 is an antioxidant. It's a biochemical needed for the transfer of energy from food to our cells. It's an antioxidant that helps reduce inflammation, and inflammation is a large part of what heart disease is in the first place. It protects you from cancer, and it protects you from aging, and it's the building block for most of your cells and for your nervous system. And so it's critically important to have that. If you're taking a statin today, that's okay too, but you probably need to supplement with Qunol or ubiquinol or some kind of good CoQ10 supplement. Researchers found that after following 114 patients with heart problems who began taking cholesterol-lowering drugs, they found that every point of decrease of the serum cholesterol, there was a 36% increased risk of death. And so, we just got to be wise about what we're putting in our body. We're scared to death about, and we didn't take care of the cholesterol in the first place. We chose to have a lifestyle that led us to having bad LDL or high LDL, and now we're taking a chemical for it. But the chemicals are chemicals. They have side effects, but also just because you lower your cholesterol doesn't mean that it's going to lower your risk of death. And so I just think it's important to know that. And so high blood pressure is another warning for heart disease. There's the bird. Did you see it? And so we're going to look at how the high blood pressure can cause an increased risk for heart disease. And so heart disease or cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure is a silent killer with very few warnings. Hypertension is the other name for high blood pressure. Among the symptoms that can be related but are always caused by high blood pressure can be facial flushing and dizziness, fatigue and confusion, blood spots in your eyes, chest pain and irregular heartbeat, vision problems, a pounding in your chest or in your neck. Blood in your urine is a sign of high blood pressure. We know that the key risk of having high blood pressure, or simply when you have high blood pressure, you have thickening of your arteries, and it may be blocking of the arteries, and so that's scary if that's what's causing your high blood pressure. Blocked arteries result from thick blood and plaque building up in the arteries. That's called atherosclerosis. Hardened arteries lead to blood clots, restricting the blood flow to the heart, and ultimately that's called a heart attack. And so elevated blood pressure is a warning sign that you are having cardiovascular disease, and ultimately the damage builds up over time, and so you don't know it. It's just like the kid that gains 15 pounds over the first semester of college. She or he may not know it, but when they come home for Christmas, you know it. And so, but it happens over time, and unfortunately, like the kid coming home from the college it's the heart attack happening when you have the heart disease happening. And so these are the stages of blood pressure or high blood pressure. Stage 1 is 130 to 139 over 80 to 89. Stage 2 is where people really start getting concerned, and most doctors start to get concerned, 140 or higher over 90 or higher. And stage 3 is higher than 180. This is scary. It's a hypertensive crisis. You've got to do something about it. And that's one of those times that we talk about here at Victory. There's a time for an emergency. There's a time like you need to go this is a medical situation. You may need a medication or a surgery or something like that, but you shouldn't have let it get this far. And then once you have the surgery, once you have taken the life-saving medication, what steps are you going to take to get yourself better? And so that's really the biggest deal. And ultimately, as this says, it's the number one it's the number one preventable cause of death in the United States. It may be the leading cause of death, but it's also considered to be the top preventable cause. And so that changes things. That means that we have a choice today. That means that there's something we can do, and some things that we can do, some steps that we can take to preventing the number one cause of death in the United States. We know that high cholesterol and blood pressure are key risk factors for heart disease. But your risk can be greatly decreased by what? It's lifestyle change. One of the top changes that we ask our patients to make is getting to a chiropractor. We know that your body and maintaining a healthy, balanced central nervous system. Remember that your brain sends information down your spinal cord out to all of your organs, for your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, for a cut to heal on your leg, for your body to receive that vitamin D and know what to do about it. For when you eat something, like how does it break it down into protein and carbohydrates and fat and all these different parts of whatever you just ate? How does your body do that? It's the nervous system. It's also the things that it's telling you to hear right now. It's telling you your eyes to be open and to be able to see right now. And so this illustration that I'm going to show you, it's simply a fact. It's not a belief system. This is the truth, that your nervous system controls every single organ in your body, and like you can't eat your way into this being 100% healthy. And this is where chiropractic comes in. As a corrective care chiropractor, I take care of this for my patients, and so it's the primary thing that we do. Like I can put food in that belly right there, right? I can put air in that lungs, but what tells the lung to breathe? And so when you have pressure on your nervous system, when you have misalignments, you go through stress, physical, chemical, emotional trauma, the information from your brain starts to have damage, or those bones misalign, and so the nerves are damaged. And now the nerve, what if I pinch the nerve that goes to your heart? If I cut the nerve that goes to your heart dies, and then the information from your brain can't get to it, doesn't wake it up. It's sad. For me, I got hit on a football field when I was 14 years old. My heart rate went up to about 260 beats a minute. It was like a heart attack. I went to the hospital, and from the time I was 14 to the time I was 28, I was a broken human being cardiovascularly. And then when I started having numbness and tingling in my hand, I started going to the chiropractor to check that out. And ultimately, when we fix that, because this damage in these nerves at the top of my shoulders, they were crushing the nerves that go into my heart, and it was causing a heart murmur when I was a young one. But ultimately it caused my heart to skip beats and all kinds of things. And so that worked for me. And is it possible that this could work for you if I reconnect your electricity going through your body? Of course it can help. And so that's why you always, that's why our patients come to the clinic. That's also why that I get adjusted every week, at least twice a week, really, is the goal for me, to make sure and maintain that, because there's nothing scarier than having like many heart attacks and stuff. And so you can get this checked at Victory. We look at this on every single person that comes into the clinic. There was a study back in the early 2000s. It was from the University of Chicago Medical Center, and they showed that the top bone in your neck, this is the little ring-looking bone. It's called atlas at the top of your bone. The doctor here says that this procedure had the effect of not one but two blood pressure medications given in the combination, and they didn't find any side effects or any problems from it. They said that the x-rays showed on that spine that the procedure realigned the atlas bone, the donut-like bone at the top of the spine, and with the spine in treated patients and not in the sham treated patients. So like compared to the sham treated patients, the people that actually didn't get adjusted, those who got the real adjustment saw an average of 14 millimeters mercury drop in the systolic. That's your top number, and your bottom number, an average of 8. And so that's amazing. Does everybody get that? Those kind of results? No, but a combination of that, a combination of this right here, calcium, magnesium, some supplementation, sunlight, exercise, says that an average of 4 millimeters on the systolic and diastolic was 2.6. That's a lot. And so some of you guys are taking blood pressure medication for 145 over 85, and what if you could do some natural things to get that down so you didn't have to take the medication? For women out there or grandmas out there, grandpas out there that want to speak into their children before they have children or when they're having children, lack of breastfeeding in infancy was linked to high blood pressure as an adult. That's been out since 2001. These are other supplements that you can take. We recommend sometimes nattokinase it's a natural type blood thinner. Never do anything without the recommendation of a doctor at least, but these are just recommendations that you can do, simple things that you can do. When we talk about nutrition, I know that somebody's out there is like, oh, he's talking too fast, but we got to go. Hey, listen, you can always play this back, and I promise you that, and it'll be here. We want to eat the stuff that's on the left of your screen, not the stuff that's on the right of the screen. Healthy fats include, when we talk about heart-healthy foods, we're talking really a lot of times about good fat. And so nuts and seeds are always good for omega-3 fatty acids, what you're looking for. Coconut, extra virgin olive oil. You want to have, when you're eating meat, you want clean, naturally raised, preferably organic protein sources. Skinless poultry, wild fish, grass-fed beef has a different omega ratio compared to like a grain-fed cow. Low sugar fruits and berries are always great. Raspberries, blueberries, strawberries are a little bit higher in sugar, but you could eat those as well. Plant-based carbohydrates, vegetables. When you're eating packaged foods, you want to count the amount of fiber that's in there and take that away from the total amount of carbs that you have. And so if you have 13 carbs and 7 fibers, then you actually have 6 carbs, and that's a lot better. It means less sugar going into your body. We want ancient or whole grains, not this man-made white bread that we love so much, that's so sticky on the bottom of your palate and on your teeth, and you feel that sugar when you eat that stuff. And so you want to avoid saturated fats, trans fats. So obviously sugar sweetened beverages. Here in the South, we love to drink sweet tea, but we gotta back off that. If you would try unsweet tea just once or twice, you may actually like it, or just talk yourself into liking it so that you get off the sugar. Fast food, obviously one of those things that you've got to eliminate from your diet. You want to, if you don't like fish, or you don't feel like you eat enough nuts and seeds, you got to know that omega-3 fatty acids are anti-inflammatory. The main types of omega-3 is called EPA, DHA, and ALA, and consuming proper amounts of omega-3 fatty acids is critical for heart health. Sources of omega-3 fatty acids, once again, fatty fish. But since sourcing of clean, healthy fish is limited, you may want to supplement with a fish oil. And so at Victory, we have an omega-3 fatty acid. We also have an advanced omega that we use for people with like leaky gut and GI issues. And so you may want to ask your doctors at Victory, or you want to ask Miss Jessica or Jennifer that are at the front to recommend one for you, or to ask us what we would recommend for you. We have a supplement at the clinic, and we're going to have a couple new supplements, and these are by order only, and so that's why I'm going through those so that you know those, but we don't carry these in the clinic, but we can get them for you. One of the first ones is called arginine. We recommend arginine, especially for this is like, this is one of the things that your body converts when you're taking like a Viagra. And so guys out there, if you don't want to take Viagra like Cialis because you do have blood pressure issues, you can take, some of you guys can take free-form amino acids, or specifically L-arginine. Red yeast rice with CoQ10, this is for people with high cholesterol. Plant sterols and black cumin seed oil. Having good cholesterol, HDL, like a high number, and a low bad LDL, that does reduce the risk of heart disease, and these help you to get your HDL up and your LDL down. At the clinic, we're going to have these handouts. They're blood pressure and heart rate tracking charts. We're probably going to be posting these on Instagram, so I'll give you the link to that all in a second. But this is just like a good way to be able to track yourself. We also have these available, cardiovascular performance perspectives from Max Living, and you can pick those up in the clinic, or we'll print one, or we'll email it. We'll figure a way out to make sure that you get this information in your hands. Exercise is critically important. That's one of the things I said I was going to talk about today. You want to find a regular exercise activity. It keeps your heart strong. Ultimately, it provides an acute and longer-term reduction in blood pressure if you will start doing this. You want to regularly exercise 30 minutes 4 to 5 days a week. I mean, it needs to be consistent, and it's not just working. Like, I think so many people, like, we work really hard at Victory, but it's not exercise. And so you want to exercise at least 30 minutes. Get your heart rate up 4 to 5 days a week. Plan an exercise activity that you like to do. Like, if you are rowing but you don't like to row, find something else to do. I'm a wrestler, but I can't go and wrestle a bunch of high school kids for 30 minutes and a couple days a week, because that's going to kill me. But I do like the exercise, and so I may do that once or twice a week, but I'll do something else. And me and my son like to hit a treadmill or something like that, and so you can do that as well. But you got to exercise. You got to minimize toxins. I want to talk about a couple. Obviously, the hydrogenated oils, your trans fats, but I want you to consider the microwave that you have in your phone, and when you put that against the blood vessels inside your head, they get inflamed for sure. There's no question about that. The research is out about that. And so you've got to decrease your electromagnetic frequencies. You want to use your speakerphone only, or some kind of headphones, but you want to be like plugged in. You do not want to be putting your cell phone against your head, just for the blood vessels inside your head, for their own health. One of the things I don't talk about a whole lot, just because it's in my family rampantly, and it feels preachy, and it feels preachy to them, but cigarette smoke contains over 4,000 chemicals, and they work together to damage organs, including your heart. The chemicals in smoke can cause cells in the lining of your blood vessels to swell. It results in inflammation and narrow blood vessels. The occurrence greatly increases risk factors for cardiovascular disease and heart disease. Ideally, you would never start smoking, but the research says, listen, that within 1 year of quitting, heart attack risk significantly decrease, and with 5 years, the risk of stroke has dropped to rates similar to those who had never smoked in the first place. So we can't be smoking, and I know that's a rough addiction for a lot of people, but it is what it is. And so if you can eliminate all the smoking, don't go vaping. But if you could just what if you're smoking 10 a day and you could just smoke 8 a day? What if you could say no to 3 or 4 a day? That's better than nothing. And so your mindset through this whole thing is that stress does increase your blood pressure. Your body produces hormones in those stressful situations. Additionally, research shows that people who sleep less than 7 hours a night, so the recommendation is 7 to 9 hours a night of sleep, that if you sleep less than 7 hours a night, you have a greater risk of having a heart attack. However, it's probably unlikely that you're actually sleeping more than 7, 8 hours a night. And so, just a couple of ways to minimize the impact of your stress and the stress that you have. Simplify your schedule. Of course, right now is a little bit different, and so we're all kind of simplifying our schedule. So this is a good time, by the way, to lower your risk of heart disease and your risk of having a heart attack one day, because you don't have opportunity to be super stressed except for the panic that's on the TV. Breathe to relax. Make a conscious effort to deepen and slow down your breathing. You want to exercise. You want to have some kind of physical activity, because that's a stress burner. You can try yoga or meditation. You can help to strengthen just your resolve inside of your head about who you are. Obviously, getting plenty of sleep, and then listen. Sometimes you got to shift your perspective. And people say that you have like a tint on your glasses or whatever, like a rose tinted glass. So some of us have like a complain glass, like just can't find anything happy in life. What is it about that? What is it about this life that is just that makes you so unhappy? And is it possible for the rest of us that you could resist the complaining? Because it drags us down, but also it drags you down. And I know that life is rough, and look, we're all in a crazy mess, but we're in it together, right? We can't hardly go outside. We're stuck in the house with kids and wasps, and got birds and circling behind me. I wish you could see these things. And so, and I'm not saying you're a complainer here. I'm just saying that sometimes we just need to shift our perspective about what's going on in life, and just look for the positive, and look for the, kind of fake it until you make it, and be happy until you actually are happy, and walking around in your self-made anxious box, or your self-made depressed box. Now listen, I'm not saying that anxiety is not real, and depression is not real, and stress is not real, but sometimes I do think that we can take it overboard, or we just want to get a rise out of people, and right now it's not that time. Right now it's just we should all be helping each other, love each other, and making sure that that we're all good. And so resist the tendency to complain about your situation, at least in the moment right now, and acknowledge your feelings about your situation. But then focus on the solutions. So let's not focus on what's so bad. Let's focus on what can be. Let's focus on the good stuff. If you want to be a patient at Victory, you can go to VictoryHealthCenter.com. You can call the office 865-357-2600. We're going to be having a bunch of stuff on social media over the next few weeks. And so if you need to connect, you can go to VictoryWorkshops.com. We're going to keep on doing stuff here online. You can go to at Victory Health Center. That's our Instagram page, and just get this information for you, and just make sure that you have the weapons that you need to get through this life. So we love you guys. I hope you have a blessed day. If you have any questions or you want to listen to the radio show, go to Victory Health Radio. Hope you have a blessed one.